Hey everybody, GT here from GT's Barbecue. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I've been looking for something to cook rice in, pasta. I've heard a lot about air fryers. So I ended up picking up a Ninja Foodi the other day. It's a pressure cooker, air fryer. I have to confess, I cook tater tots in it. It's hard to imagine that I would eat any tater tots, but I do love them. And I also did a thing of rice and it came out really good. So I decided to see how it really compares to a barbecue. So I'm going to fire up my Rectech pellet grill today. I've done some really good lobster in the past on it. And this does have a bake feature. So I picked up some lobster tails here. They're pretty small. I don't know. They're probably 4 or 5 ounces a piece. I'm going to go ahead and set the temp and the time on this for exactly the same that I do on my Rectech, and we're going to see what we get. I'm going to do a comparison. How bad could it be? I mean, it's meat and it's heat, so I'm sure it'll be fine, but I'm interested to see the difference. So we're going to cook these up in a second and we'll see what we get. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and prep these lobsters. Sorry if my hands get in the way. I'm just going to go right down the center. Clip off this shell. This is the way I've done it in the past. You only want to go right to that last little joint right there. You don't want to cut into the tail at all. And then we're just going to separate this a little bit. We don't want to break the bottom. I usually just pull these little feet off. Feet, whatever they are. And then we're just going to pull this apart, separate the shell as best we can. Kind of expose the meat. And then we're just going to go in here with our finger in between the shell and the meat itself. Just kind of pry it away. You don't want to get too crazy. Just takes a little bit of finesse at first, but once you get it started, it comes away pretty easily. So once you get the sides released, you just kind of get underneath it, pull it up, flop it over, and let the shell close. And then we're just going to put this meat right back down on top. I'm going to go ahead and do these other 3, and we'll see you back here in a second. Okay, that took, gosh, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes to get the meat out of those. Since this is a barbecue channel, I am going to use some Killer Hogs The Barbecue Rub. Very little salt in here, but what it does have is some nice color. So I'm just going to give it a light coating, a little paprika in there, some other magic things. I'm probably going to go ahead and cook these at about 400 degrees. It's not going to take long. I'm guessing, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. At least that's been my experience with something this size. That looks nicely seasoned. We'll go ahead and get the grills fired up, and we'll do a one-on-one comparison and we'll see what we get. Okay, so I've got my Rectech set at 400 degrees. I'm going to take these over here, my Ninja Foodi. I'm going to hit the power button. I have this rack, and by the way, I did preheat this, so it's the same as the Ninja. It's been on for about 15 minutes. I'm just going to randomly grab a couple of these, put them in the Foodi, shut the lid. I'm going to hit bake, and I'm gonna go 400 degrees. I'm gonna go for 10 minutes. I'm gonna go for 8 minutes. And I'll do the same on my rectangle. So I'll open it up, put the lobster tails on, shut the lid, and we'll see you in about 8 minutes. Okay, this thing's timing down. 8 minutes. I did spray these both with some, I can't believe it's not butter. It's hitting cool. I'm looking for an internal temp of about 145 degrees on these. I have no idea what to expect. Oh, they're nice and crispy on top. 150, so these are done. Let's check the rec tech. We definitely had more browning. And these are only temping at 115, 17, 18. These are temping about 125, so they still have some time. I'm going to shut the lid and I'll take them inside and we'll see what we get. Okay, it's been about another 10 minutes. The Ninja Foodi did those in 8 minutes. Check these now. They're definitely not as dark on top. I'm looking for 145. These still have some time to go. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, it's been about another 16 minutes. 3 times longer than in the Foodi. Oh, they feel more tender. I'm looking for 145. I'm going to call them done. That one's more than done. But neither one of them are as done as the ones in the Ninja. But I'm going to bring these inside. I'm going to let these rest because the Ninja's been resting now for 16 minutes. So I'm going to let these rest the same amount of time. We'll cut them up. We'll see what we get. Okay, so I've rested these ones from the grill for about 8 minutes. Not quite as much time as the Foodi ones rested, but going to put some garlic infused butter on both. The first thing I'll notice, or that the first thing that I notice is these are the Foodi ones, the ones on your right. They're browner on the top. I don't know if that means anything. And these two are not as brown, but they were in the smoker for, gosh, probably triple the time. So about 25 minutes here and about 8 minutes here. So I'm going to plate these up here in a second. We'll see what they taste like. Okay, so we have the Ninja Foodi here, the Rectech over here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this meat off of each. I do notice a little bit of difference in color, not a whole lot. I do have to say, this took 8 minutes. This took about 25 minutes. I drizzled them both with butter, and they both came up to about, well, this one actually came up to over 145. Feels a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say chewy. Delicious. I'd eat that all day long. Now let's do the one in the pellet smoker. This took about, oh, I can already tell. The first thing I notice is this is more tender. They both have the same seasonings. Dang. That's close. You know, I was kind of thinking the pellet grill would do a better job But I have to say, considering this took a third the time, I don't notice a whole lot in taste or texture. They both almost seem a little bit overdone to me. A little chewy, not melt in your mouth. I might have cooked them to a lower temp, but I gotta say, this first contest between my pellet grill and the Foodi, I gotta give it a tie. I'm not gonna give anyone an advantage over the other, but I can see I have a lot of future with this new machine. Granted, not an expert, third time cooking on the Foodi, 1000th time cooking on my my pellet smoker, but they're both good, they're both tasty, they're both tender. So, you know, I almost want to call it a tie, except I think the color and the browning on the top of the lobster that was done in the Foodi is more pleasing to look at. And, you know, all things considered equal, if I can do something in 8 minutes that I can do in 25 minutes, I gotta kind of give the nod a little bit to the Foodi. Many more videos to come. I'm going to compare a lot of other things. I want to try some ribs. I want to try some steaks. I want to try some other things. But so far, this machine is pretty amazing. So we'll see what we get in the future. And as always, stay safe. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing.